Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Today we are jumping back on our 1974 VW bus. That's a Subaru swap conversion, but we're jumping into our suspension. So we're going to be changing out our ball joints on the passenger and driver side. They are completely trashed. There is no boot on them. All you can see is the actual ball joint itself on there. Last week we actually took care of our wheels and painted them, primed them, all that good stuff. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you see that. So we're going to actually take off our wheels that we just got done cleaning, and we're going to jump in here and take care of these ball joints. Now we do have some new ones. There are 4 total. It is this part number TC134, if that's what you're looking for. But we have all new sets here. Nice, completely sealed hardware with the nylon nut on the bottom there. All nice protected, has a new snap ring, all ready to go. We went to our local Advance Auto Parts, and they have a tool rental program. So we went and got their big jumbo kit of ball joint press clamp tool. And we are going to break that open because I wasn't sure what size. There's a bunch of whole different sizes in there, so I just got the big kit to be safe. And we're gonna pop these out. But first things first, we need to get these lug nuts busted loose, lift it up, take off the wheel, and then start digging into those ball joints. We have to remove the knuckle and all that stuff. And that's gonna be fun. So let's jump in. So here we are, wheel is off, and we're under the bus here. And you can see our ball joints are just completely, that'll make a shadow, just playing peekaboo with us through the boot. And these are just completely trashed. So we've got to break these nuts loose, which is going to be super fun. I think we're going to start with eeny, meeny, miny, mo, the top. It'll be easier to start with the top. It's the bottom will help hold it. We'll get a nice big socket on there, break this one loose, and then this will kind of fall forward, and then we'll break this one loose. We're definitely going to have to lube it up, put some penetrating fluid on there, and hopefully I won't have to break out the heat, but I may. So let's get to action, start removing all this, see if we can tuck it out of the way without damaging our brake line either. It's just a big balancing act, you know. All right, we're ready to jump on the bottom one first. I was going to go with the top, but I think we're going to go with the bottom. I do have a 27mm socket, but it's a deep well socket, so it won't reach the top one, but it will reach the bottom. It's got a 1-inch fitting on it. 1 inch. It's not 3/8. It's in a 1/2 inch, is what I'm saying. So we're going to do the bottom, and hopefully we can kind of maybe swing it out of the way a little bit, and then we'll get to the top, but one thing at a time. Let's see how much this takes. We put some lube on it, and cross your fingers. It's not going to kill us. So, all right, let the battle begin. I'm just turning the wheel. Oh, that's surprising. Unless I'm just spinning the ball joint. You want to bet I'm just spinning the ball joint? I don't know. Let's take a look. All right. Oh, we're actually not spinning the ball joint. Well, we've got one out, so that's half the battle. But I think we're going to have to undo our shock on the bottom. Well, maybe the top, whatever's easier. And then maybe we'll be able to access the top one. I'm not counting my chickens here, but yeah, I think if we loosen this shock, it'll drop this arm down just a little bit because we can't access it from the back. But it's just a matter of needing, I don't know, 1/2 inch. So if we can get a 1/2 inch more, it should be able to come straight up. And then we'll see if we can get the socket on there. So let's get that shock removed, Spray a little bit more lubricant down these to work while we're working. And then maybe we'll get lucky twice, who knows? Hey guys, we're gonna take a quick pause and talk about today's video sponsor, Vintage Car LEDs. Are you nervous to drive your classic at night just because your headlights just aren't quite bright enough? Head over to vintagecarleds.com and check out their wide variety of headlights that fit in our old classics. You can check out their different products, their apparel, you can even compare the models, contact them with questions, but more importantly, what will fit? If you go here to the middle of the screen, every make and model you could possibly imagine, even for our Fiat is on here. We'll go down to a Volkswagen, which is what we've got. We'll go to all these options. We're going to go down to the transport. We're going to hit search. And here you go. All the headlights that'll fit our make and model are here. Different sizes, bulb brightness, all give you variety and options to drive safely at night. Now here's the good part, is I've got a coupon code for you. You save 10% with the keyword GarageTimeTV at checkout off your entire purchase. Again, use the coupon code GarageTimeTV at your checkout for 10% off your entire purchase. So let's get back to the video. Alright, so we've been able to get that nut off, like I just showed you, and it came off and the ball joint is separated, it's not seized in there, which is great. Now our challenge is this one. Now I happen to have a 1 1/8 massive wrench in here, and it's just small enough to get in here. And look at that, we were able to bust it loose, and it's coming off. So this huge socket here, it's great for the bottom, no problem, but you can see the issue I'm facing getting there. If I can get you lined up right, you can see the issue I'm facing. It's not getting a good grip. Now the 1 1/8 is not a perfect fit. Should be a 27 millimeter. So if we had, like a 1 1/16, I think that would fit much better. But here's a look. I'll get this set up for you. So this is the nut off the bottom, and you can see it. It's in there, but there's a little bit of play. So if I had like a 1 1/16, it'd be a little bit better. But luckily these aren't smoked to like oblivion tight on there. So I was able to break this off with just my 2-pound hammer and just tapping it on the end, and actually broke loose. So I think as soon as we break this loose, I think this one will work with us also. That penetrating fluid's been working for a little bit, and we should be able to just remove this whole hub altogether and be able to start having the fun part of pressing those out. I hope it all goes so smooth. Cross your fingers. So that actually came off pretty well. I've got it kind of held up so we don't put any stress on the rubber brake line. So it's up out of our way, so we're exposing just the ball joints. And you can see just how bad these are. Just completely, I mean, look at that. Just completely trashed. Horrible. But yeah, I mean, they're not doing us any favors. So one thing to note is we've got this kind of bulge here on the top. And if I pull down the boot, you can see that it's indexed to one way. So you see it's got wider on the sides and it's skinnier on the top, and it's also on the bottom, which means that the ball joint only travels one direction like this. So when we go to reinstall it, we really need to make sure that we are indexing it correctly to where the ball joint will travel in the appropriate direction. It's been about 2.5 hours since we were in that last shot that you just saw, and things have escalated really quickly, and we just ended up taking out the torsion arm completely. So we took out the torsion arm because we just could not get it to pop. I mean, it was just in there. So I went with the most difficult one, the top one first, pulled it out, and we ended up, you can see all the mess we've made trying to fight with it. We ended up bringing it to the bench, and you can see more of a mess we have here. But we have popped it, but it looks obviously much worse than when you just saw it. So what we did is we cut off the actual ball joint part of it, the actual ball part. We cut that off, so that way it would be a lot easier for the press to get around it, much shorter. It could put more torque on it. So we lubricated it and we heated it over and over and over again. And what we did is we ended up using a chisel and the grinder very delicately and taking that outer lip off. And so by the outer lip, I mean, I'll show you the new one, this one here. So you can see that outer edge here where there's like that dip in the middle and then it keeps going. You know, the two sides, we ended up taking the grinder and cutting that off. So what that's done is freed up the space around the torsion arm where the ball joint goes, and we were able to get the cup all the way around it, and then we were able to finally squeeze it. But you can see all the rust and stuff that's in there, and I wanted to bring you back. But we've been spraying and heating and spraying and heating and hammering and pressing, but well, maybe there's a little bit more pressing we need to do. Alright, well, we need to press some more, but I was very delicate not to damage this outer surface, which is very important. That way we don't mar it and make it all uneven. So we're going to put the press back on to finally push this thing all the way through, and we're definitely going to clean that out and put some anti-seize for the new one so we can press in the new arm. But this is just 1 out of 4, and now that I know this method works, we're just going to go this way through the whole thing. But let me get this all the way out and I'll show you guys what the damage is done. These are horribly rusted in place. It's a little warm, but you can see all the rust built up on there and inside here. I mean, it is just caked in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a Scotch-Brite. We're definitely going to clean this up. Maybe I might even take a wire wheel a little bit and break down a lot of that, but you can see there's buildup and all sorts of stuff that was holding that in there. These are definitely original ball joints, and they were not very nice to these torsion arms. There's no way I would have ever gotten that off on the bus, so I'm glad I took it off. But we're gonna clean this up, and then we'll move on to the lower one. The lower one will come off super easy, and now that I know my process, hopefully it'll go faster. But once we get this passenger side done, I'm gonna put them both on there, and I'll bring you guys back as I press them in. Not too difficult, just now they've got the edge on there, I can actually comfortably press them in. So let's clean these up. I'll move on to the bottom one, get that one knocked out, and then I will bring you back when it's all clean. Well, it's the next day. We spent about 6 hours fighting on just the passenger side ball joints. So today we're going to go to the driver's side. I have a strong suspicion these are going to go much faster now that we know that we've got to cut those outer edges off and then press it through. So we're going to have to adjust the bus here so we can get to the driver's side. So we're going to back it out, kind of center it more into the middle, but there's a lot of stuff on the ground that we're going to need to clean up first. A lot of those, cylinders we didn't end up using, so we have to put those back in the case to help get them out of the way. Basically, we got to clean up, then we'll move it out, move it back in, jump on the driver's side, and fight those for hopefully not 6 hours. My favorite things: fighting rusty ball joints and cleaning. No, I hate it with a passion. So the right thing is just to do it, get it over with. But I'm gonna get those pressed in, and I'll show you when they're pressed in. Maybe a little bit of time lapse as we fight and struggle those. There you can see that this is totally not fun at all. after 2 days and about 12 hours of work, but we're done. We have new ball joints. We're gonna have a nice smooth ride. I'm not worried about it. Everything's back, put together and assembled. We're done, all finished. But this now means we get to move on to the interior. So next week, we're gonna start putting the floor in the back of this thing. We're gonna be through the big flat area in the middle of the bus, as well as up in that walkway in between the seats. We're gonna be putting all that floor in. That may be a relatively short video. It's kind of pressed for time next week, because this weekend, the weekend that this video is actually coming out, I am graduating from college. I'm gonna go up to my college campus and walk for graduation. So next week we're really pressed for time, so a little short video, starting to work on the inside and no longer working on mechanical stuff so much and getting more excited as we start going in, not so much out. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for putting up with the patience of this, because it was super time consuming. I really do appreciate it. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing really, really helps the channel, so please make sure you do that. And until next time, we'll see you.